Again, we've got Heather from the Fort St. John North Peace Museum joining us on the phone now. How's it going, Heather?
Oh, good.
Good to connect with you now that we've figured out our issues. So the reason we're having you on today is you guys are having a St. Distaff's Day celebration at the museum this Saturday from noon until 3 o'clock. Before we kind of get into what you'll be doing, can you tell us a bit about what this day is kind of all about, or what it's been about traditionally?
Yeah, so we've all heard of the 12 Days of Christmas. So the 12 Days of Christmas used to be much more of a holiday than it is today. Like in the Middle Ages, the men and the women, they really didn't do much work during that time other than, what was necessary to look after animals or so on. Mm-hmm. So after these 12 days of Christmas, the women resumed their household work, and so January 7th was traditionally known as St. Distaff's Day. Now, there is no actual St. Distaff, but the word distaff comes from a staff that was used for holding flax, tow, or wool in spinning, and you used that, you kind of tucked it under your arm, and then you had a drop spindle, and that was used to twist the fibers together, and that would make your thread. So that was the women's work, and then the men's equivalent also was known as Plow Monday, when it fell on it always fell on the Monday after Epiphany or January 6th, when the men resumed their work. So sometimes if Distaff Day and Plow Monday fell on the same day, so January 7th was a Monday, then the men and women would play pranks on each other during the joint celebrations. But really this was a return to work, whether it was women's work in the case of the Distaff or men's work for Plow Monday.
I see. So, but the pranks would only be played if the days fell together. There's no pranks otherwise, I suppose.
That is correct. And you'll note that women often resumed their household work before the men resumed their plow work.
Sure. That makes sense. Well, tell us a bit about then what the museum will doing as part of a little celebration and I suppose a demonstration of what that work entailed on St. Distaff's Day.
So we've been partnering with the North Peace Spinners and Weavers since about 2017 to do this event, even if it doesn't always quite fall on the 13th day after Christmas. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, this year it does. So we have a little display with some historic photos and a lot of fun facts about St. Distaff's Day. That we put up as a display, and they do the demonstration, which is great because I don't know much about spinning. Mm-hmm. So they'll show you some drop spindles and so on, and talk about making thread and do some general demonstrations. So it's a great way to see the museum for free and to learn more about this craft that really shaped women's lives for centuries.
Now, I don't know if you know this for sure, but like the demonstration, is it a more what's the word? A traditional method of doing these things, or are they just showing you kind of how it is, even if it's got like modern technology, or is it sort of antiques that they'll be using?
I believe they have both older equipment as well as more modern equipment, so you might have a chance to see both.
Very cool. Okay, and again, the admission for this event is free from noon till 3 at the museum on Saturday. Do you have to register ahead of time? Is there limited space?
Nope. Just drop in.
Perfect. Okay. And then, of course, as you say, look at all the other cool things happening at the museum at the same time. Heather, if we have questions, where are the best ways to get a hold of you and ask them or see answers?
You can call the museum at 250-787-0430.
Perfect. Heather, always nice to catch up with you. Happy New Year, and thanks for doing this.
Thanks. Same to you.
This community interview is supported by your Member of Parliament, Bob Zimmer. Stop by his office in Fort St. John at 9916 100th Avenue and in Dawson Creek at 104